master of the world, self-made her slave. And Sri Aurobindo actually translates from the Upanishads about the master of the worlds. He writes and he says the following: if we suppose a supreme consciousness, master of the world, which really conducts behind the veil all the operations the mental gods attribute to themselves, it will be obvious that that consciousness will be the entire knower and the Lord. And he goes on to say in the essays on the Gita, the first step on this free, this equal, this divine way of action is to put from you attachment to fruit and recompense, and to labor only for the sake of the work itself that has to be done. For you must deeply feel that the fruits belong not to you, but to the master of the world. Consecrate your labor and leave its returns to the Spirit who manifests and fulfills himself in the universal movement. The outcome of your action is determined by his will alone, and whatever it be, good or evil fortune, success or failure, it is turned by him to the accomplishment of his world purpose. Incredible statement. I'll share with you a letter from Mother to me. When I asked Mother whether I should continue my studies in music as a conductor or whether I should learn to conduct choirs. And this is Mother's reply: one or the other, because the most important thing is not so much what you choose, but the spirit in which you will do it. And then she gave me this sentence that has held me steady all my life. Keep living in you the spirit of consecration, and all will be all right. The master of the worlds, self-made, her slave. This is the action of the Purusha and Prakriti. You can say the divine and the creatrix, but he is the executor of her fantasies. She has canalized the seas of omnipotence. Very interesting word, canalize, to divert into a certain channel in order to control or regulate these seas of omnipotence. And she has limited by her laws the illimitable. The illimitable, of course, is the boundless. It's always the boundless. The immortal bound himself to do her works. He labors at the tasks her ignorance sets. Well, it's an interesting word. I think he's speaking here of universal nature, who is always creating, but she is ignorant in the way that she is without a mind. He tells us that ignorance is the absence of the divine eye of perception, which gives us the sight of the supramental truth. So in the successions of time, ignorance has put behind it the knowledge of unity. And by that very fact, it's unable to know truly or completely either itself or the world, either the transcendent or the universal reality. He speaks to us here from the life divine. But he also says in the life divine that all ignorance is a penumbra which environs an orb of knowledge. So beautiful. So we look now what else is happening. He labors at the tasks her ignorance sets, hidden in the cape of our mortality. Now we know what a cape is. It's something that you wear hanging over the shoulders. So it is actually covering us, this cape of our mortality. The worlds, the forms her goddess fancy makes have lost their origin on unseen heights. Let me get to the next page now, and we'll go from there. All of this, of course, is the work of the Divine Mother and the Lord, very, very simply. And they are acting today, at least Mother and Sri Aurobindo are acting today from the subtle physical, preparing these supramental bodies. Even severed, straying from their timeless source, even deformed, obscure, accursed, and fallen, since even fall has its perverted joy, and nothing she leaves out that serves delight. These too can to the peaks revert, or here cut out the sentence of the spirit's fall, recover their forfeited divinity. So we have some things to discuss here, very, very important things. Something that is cursed is doomed to perdition or misery, ill-fated. So even severed and straying from their timeless source, which is the divine, even deformed, obscure, accursed, and fallen. And then he has a dash here, an M dash. And he says, since even fall has its perverted joy. Well, that's because we see it from the body, life, and mind. If we can go above that, if we can get into the higher realms of the higher mind, illumined, intuitive mind, we do not see that fall has any perverted joy. These and nothing she leaves out that serves delight. Well, here's our key here before that dash, that nothing the divine creatrix leaves out that serves delight, ananda. And Sri Aurobindo has told us time and time again that this world was created only for bliss. So these things like fall and when they're severed and deformed and obscure, they can revert to the peaks, or even here, cut out the sentence of the spirit's fall, recover their lost, recover their forfeited divinity. If we forfeit something, we lose it. as one caught in an eternal vision sweep, he saw her pride and splendor of highborn zones, and her regions crouching in the nether deeps. Well, he's able to see everything now. He's traveling these worlds. We've already seen in Book 1, Canto 3, and Canto 5, his tremendous growth as a sage, and we would know as an avatar. So he looks above now, and he sees that above was a monarchy of unfallen self. Beneath was the gloomy trance of the abyss, an opposite pole or dim antipodes. Antipodes is very simply a place diametrically opposed to another. But he sees more. He sees that there were vasts of the glory of life's absolutes, all laughed in a safe immortality and an eternal childhood of the soul, before darkness came and pain and grief were born, where all could dare to be themselves and one. And wisdom played in sinless innocence with naked freedom in truth's happy sun. Well, it seems to us that this is a place of great beauty, of great freedom, of joy. In the next line, he tells us, there were worlds of her laughter and dreadful irony. There were fields of her taste of toil and strife and tears. Her head lay on the breast of amorous death. Oh, sleep imitated a while extinction's peace. So we see now that it's seemingly a place of great joy and freedom and peace, but it is not. This particular plane of consciousness that he has found, in this he sees, and the next line tells us, the light of God. She has parted from his dark to test the savor of bare opposites. Well, this is something we talk about each week with our friend Ranganath. In the Life Divine, in the essays on the Gita, and in the synthesis, is that when humanity says God is great and God is good and God is everything, we really cannot describe God in any way at all. Because he may also decide to be the opposite of that. Dark, evil, violent. Maybe that's his choice. So he can be both, and therefore he can taste the savor of bare opposites. Now we continue a little longer. Here, mingling in man's heart, their tones and hues have woven his being's mutable design, his life a forward rippling stream in time, his nature's constant fixed mobility, his soul a moving picture's changeful film, his cosmos chaos of personality. So we see as human beings what we are. So we see that the divine has woven into our being his changeable design, his alterable design. And it mingles in our heart. What mingles there? Well, the tones and hues of this design. And then we see that his life is a forward rippling stream in time. I think all of us have felt this quite often. His nature's constant fixed mobility. Well, it seems like an opposition here. A fixed mobility? Well, our nature's mobility is constant, but it's also very fixed until we can leave the realm of body, life, and mind. His soul, a moving picture's changeful film, is cosmos chaos of personality. We've all had that experience, I'm sure. We seem to be moving, and yet we seem to be fixed. Or if we are moving, we still can't move many things that we have to move to progress further. And so our souls are like a moving pictures film that's constantly changing. Of course, we are constantly changing because we are on a spiral upward, reaching towards the supramental. We can go a little bit more. The grand creatrix with her cryptic touch. Cryptic here is mysterious in meaning, puzzling touch, has turned to pathos and power, being's self-dream, made a passion play of its fathomless mystery. Well, yes, this is what we are going through. We are going through this play of the grand creatrix with her cryptic touch, turning to pathos and power, the self-dream of our being, and even made a passion play of its fathomless mystery. Well, Sri Aurobindo uses passion play twice, in the beginning in book 1 also. And it's a medieval play originally that represents the events associated with the passion of Jesus. So we see here that this fathomless mystery is sort of like a passion play, going back and forth from grief to joy and all the dualities of love and hate and life and death in this human body. So I think maybe we can go from the beginning and have someone read to us. If there are any questions, please ask them. And Vladimir, do you have anything you would like to share with us also?
I think it fits very well with the Book of Fate. You remember how Narad explains to the mother of Savitri.
Yes.
And that's Narad's words, kind of referring to you in some way, that he explains that the soul was attracted to this adventure of consciousness and to the music of ruin and the bear wounded bear escape, and all those adventures were very attractive for the soul.
Yes, very true. So would someone like to read the entire passage, beginning with the master of the worlds, self-made her slave? Or if there's any questions first. Okay, then someone decide.
Can I read?
Surely.
Thank you.
Surely.
The master of the worlds, self-made her slave, is the executor of her fantasies. She has canalized the seas of omnipotence. She has limited by her laws the illimitable. The immortal bound himself to do her works. He labors at the tasks her ignorance sets. Hidden in the cape of our mortality. The worlds, the forms her goddess fancy makes, have lost their origin on unseen heights. Even severed, straying from their timeless source, even deformed, obscure, accursed, and fallen. Since even fall has its perverted joy, and nothing she leaves out that serves delight. These two can to the peaks revert or here, cut out the sentence of the spirit's fall, recover their forfeited divinity. At once caught in an eternal vision's sweep, he saw her pride and splendor of high-born zones, and her regions crouching in the nether deeps. Above was a monarchy of unfallen self. Beneath was the gloomy trance of the abyss, an opposite pole or dim antipodes. There were vasts of the glory of life's absolutes, all laughed in a safe immortality, and an eternal childhood of the soul before darkness came and pain and grief were born, where all could dare to be themselves and one, and wisdom played in sinless innocence, with naked freedom in truth's happy sun. There were worlds of her laughter and dreadful irony. There were fields of her taste of toil and strife and tears. Her head lay on the breast of amorous death. Sleep imitated a while extinction's peace. The light of God, she has parted from his dark to test the savor of bare opposites. Here, mingling in man's heart, their high tones and hues have woven his being's mutable design, his life a forward rippling stream in time, his nature's constant fixed mobility, his soul a moving picture's changeful film, his cosmos chaos of personality. The grand creatrix, with her cryptic touch, has turned to pathos and power, being's self-dream, made a passion play of its fathomless mystery.
Thank you. Now we see that there are a couple of lines here where we could look a little deeper. This savor is a very specific taste or smell, the savor of bare opposites. And so the grand creatrix, we may call her, has parted the light of God from his dark. Namaste all, and thank you for attending.